Tune your shortwave radio dial to 4625 kilohertz, and you'll hear an eerie, repetitive noise. This mysterious station goes by the call sign UVB76, but to its devoted listeners, it's known as the buzzer. An enigmatic radio broadcast that no one claims to run has been transmitting a monotonous droning sound like this one, virtually non-stop for over 5 decades. The buzzing is occasionally interrupted by a voice speaking Russian.
Vasily, Zhenya, Sapli, Khariton. Vasily, Zhenya, Sapli.
Ryan Shalm, an amateur radio enthusiast, runs one of many websites devoted to the phenomenon.
What originally got me into the buzzer was the mystery of it. Like who's broadcasting this, why they are, and what possible purpose could it have. I did kind of get hooked to it, so I just keep on searching for more information about it, hoping to find some sort of rational explanation.
Investigator Chase Klotsky says thousands of dedicated enthusiasts like Ryan are heating up the internet with talk that the buzzer's origin is the former Soviet Union.
We trace it back basically to Russia. Could be anything from the communication device to speak to submarines, or a coded way to speak to spies, their military.
There is another theory that the buzzer is part of a nuclear deterrent system, a so-called dead hand station.
The theory behind the dead man switch is that if Russia is attacked and decimated, the buzzer stops, and then nuclear weapons are automatically deployed in retaliation to the West.
The nuclear dead hand system is part of a long-standing policy called Mutual Assured Destruction, or MAD. If all sides know nuclear war is unwinnable, no one will start one. But is the buzzer really a part of that, or does it have another disturbing purpose? Let's ask the experts. We turn to our military expert, Tim McMillan. He studied the history of the buzzer, and he's skeptical it has anything to do with nukes.
In 2010, the signal ceased. Very fortunately, we didn't see the launch of any missiles. We didn't see apocalypse, and so that would suggest that it's probably not linked to some type of nuclear detonation device.
So, what about the submarine signaling theory?
When I first heard about this buzzer, I thought it must be a way to communicate with submarines deep in the oceans, but that requires very low frequency transmission.
ELF, or extremely low frequency waves, can penetrate seawater hundreds of meters deep. At these frequencies, the signal doesn't degrade much due to atmospheric conditions or the depth of the ocean. But Kaku says the buzzer works at a much higher frequency. So he thinks it's being used to communicate with people on land, but at a great distance.
You might say to yourself, well, why don't the Russians simply use the internet? Well, the problem with that is security. And so you want to use over-the-horizon radio for certain kinds of sensitive communication.
Shortwave radio is phenomenally good at sending messages past the line of sight because these messages actually bounce off the ionosphere and then come back down to Earth. So you could shoot messages across entire continents. These regular intervals of noise, they're basically saturating this shortwave radio channel so other people can't hop on the station and compete with you.
But why do that? Dr. Gottesman says that by claiming the frequency, Russia can use it at any time as a so-called numbers station to send secret messages, often hidden in a group of numbers as they are read out loud.
87, 62.
And McMillan agrees.
It's fairly unsophisticated, but a brilliant way to communicate with your deep cover spies who may be all the way across the world.
Other countries, including the U.S., have allegedly used so-called numbers stations for espionage. And if it's an old-school form of spycraft, McMillan says it's still useful.
The idea of continuing to use it today, why not? It makes your adversaries have to listen in. It makes them try to crack a code that maybe you're not even using anymore. But it could be something else that we haven't even considered. It's an unknown. Who knows? If nothing else, it's a mystery.
So our verdict is mixed. We're pretty sure it's a Russian number station, but we don't know exactly what sort of messages it's sending, if it's currently in use, or if it's a ruse. or if it's just a placeholder for the frequency. So for now, we're just going to have to keep listening with anticipation for the next big clue. One rumor that continuously makes the rounds on the internet is that some controversial world leaders have been secretly replaced by body doubles. So is the camera just catching these powerful men from odd angles, or has somebody made a switch? It's April 2020, and North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un seems to be missing in action. On April 11th, he presides over a meeting of the North Korean Politburo, but he is conspicuously absent from the annual celebration of his grandfather's birthday just 4 days later on April 15th. As the weeks go by without a public appearance, there are whisperings that he is gravely ill. When photos of him are finally released at the beginning of May, it only intensifies rumors something had happened. The images show Kim inspecting a new fertilizer plant. He appears to be happy and healthy, but some speculate that all is not as it seems. The skeptics question whether the man in the photo is actually Kim Jong-un at all. They point to discrepancies in the man's head shape, nose, ears, and teeth compared to the authenticated photos of Kim in 2019 and 2013 on the right. Many wonder if the leader did in fact pass away and has been replaced by a double. According to journalist Aaron McCarthy, Kim Jong-un isn't the only world leader suspected of being swapped for a decoy.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has often been the subject of rumors that he uses body doubles. It was even rumored that at some point after he became president, he died and was replaced by a look-alike.
Sounds silly, right? But wait, major world leaders have used body doubles before.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi has actually admitted to having impersonators who go on the campaign trail for him.
It's also been well established by the Pentagon that Iraq's Saddam Hussein went so far as to make his own body doubles get plastic surgery to add similar identifying marks like moles and scars. But could one of these current leaders have actually been replaced by a double? Time for our experts to face off. First, facial recognition expert Hoan Ton-Tat has his company's algorithm compare the photo in question of the resurfaced Kim Jong-un to an earlier image of the North Korean leader. Again, look at the differences in the teeth and earlobes.
Comparing the two faces, and the lower the number, the better it is. If it's under 1.0, it's a match. This is at 0.73, so the algorithm is very confident it's the same person. But to make sure, we had an expert facial analyst take a look at the face.
He found several features that were the same, like the outer eye and the lower lip area. But it was a matching crease in the cheek that really sealed the deal.
There are unique things that we don't always notice about someone, like the cheek crease. You have the cheek crease on his right cheek. To have a body double, to have the exact same feature there, would be very, very improbable.
So it's highly unlikely this was a decoy Kim Jong-un in the photo. The analyst also found matching cheek creases on the two photos of Putin, putting to bed rumors he too was replaced by a body double. Mick West says there's a logical reason why these theories of leaders being replaced with lookalikes have persisted online.
Even if you take the same person and you do two photographs in slightly different lighting, they can look like very, very different people.
West demonstrated for us exactly that.
These were taken about 1 minute apart. If you didn't know better, you might think these were actually two different people. The shape of the head becomes very, very different, and the features look a little bit different as well, like they're a little bit more compressed than they were over here.
Our verdict? These theories are false. Though body doubles have been used, we can conclude that there is still only one true Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin. In the wake of the recent California wildfires, a strange and sinister theory emerged from the ashes. The video you're about to see had some folks asking if the terrifying natural destruction we observed was in fact unnatural.
Pretty much total destruction. I've seen every house destroyed on this road.
California wildfires have become a perennial disaster. In the aftermath, aerial footage shows wrenching images of destruction.
Here we see the devastating after effects of what these wildfires are leaving in their wake.
But look closely at this shot. Does something seem off to you?
One of the things that we're seeing that is absolutely crazy are entire houses in